guys, what is going on? How y'all doing here tonight? This is the Club of the Man. Well, it's not evening yet. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but who knows? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am here live for this week's episode of NXT, the April 8th, 2020 live review of NXT. Of course, as all shows in WWE are taking place at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. Well, except for NXT UK, of course, that's still out across the ocean. Of course, we continued on as we had two matches on this show that were originally supposed to take place at NXT TakeOver Tampa Bay. One, the most likely main event. I gotta say, both matches really delivered. The show was pretty good. The one match, though, we had on this show that was kind of like a enhancement match. I wasn't a big fan of that one, to be honest. I'm just not digging this team, this Ender Sheer of the Bivens Enterprises and whatnot. I'm not really digging that team. But overall, this was still a very good show, for sure, though. I enjoyed the ladder match. I thought the ladder match went a little bit better than it was, but I still thought it was a great match for sure. Some great selling, some great storytelling, rivalries coming back together as we saw in that storyline in that match. Of course, we had the fallout from the NXT Women's Championship match from WrestleMania 36, which of course updated the graphic as I did. And of course that main event. Got a lot to talk about when we get to that match. So, let's get right to it, guys. Let's talk about this show. So, apparently also, from what I read also too, Mauro Ranallo was the only person on commentary for this show. But, he was commentating this from his home in California, apparently. That's why we never saw him on screen. He was doing this from his home. Of course, right now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be unable to travel because of the current pandemic and whatnot. We also, of course, got announced a release today. A tag team was released in WWE. I will try to get a video out either today or tomorrow, giving my thoughts on that. And apparently, the reason for this release, and apparently is more releases to come, is because they're cutting back on talent because of the current situation. But we will talk about that, of course, when we do talk about that video. Anyway, so we opened up with this 6-woman ladder match for the number one contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. The winner will go on to have a future match sometime soon. Don't know when. Kind of hope they wait till the crowd comes back. Will face the current NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. So it is Tegan Nox versus Chelsea Green, of course, with Robert Stone in her corner, taking on Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. And of course, Raquel Gonzalez was also at ringside for Dakota Kai. And of course, during any matches that are supposed to take place at TakeOver, the TakeOver logo was displayed on the Titantron. This was a really good match. The only thing I will say about this match, I felt it could have had about 5 more minutes to it. I don't know, you're watching the match, you feel it when it's really, it already did crank into another gear. The storytelling in this match was excellent. There was a lot of drama, a lot of stuff going on. Of course, Dakota Kai, I felt, was the biggest villain of the match because most of the women in there had beef with her, such as Mia Yim, who was supposed to be in the Women's War Games match, sorry about my microphone there. But Dakota took her out. Tegan Nox, of course, Dakota Kai's former best friend. And Candice LeRae was also supposed to be having a match with Dakota Kai in the War Games match as well. Obviously, turn on her entire team. Of course, Candice LeRae and Io Shirai had their rivalry from previously. The only odd one out really was Chelsea Green. She's still kind of like the newbie, of course, but having like someone like her in this match I thought was a good idea. She, though, unfortunately, during this match, sold it really well. There was a moment in the match where she went for like a big boot. She got her leg caught in a ladder that was on the side, wrapped in the on the ropes. And as that happened, Mia Yim took a steel chair, BAM! Smashed that knee right into the ladder. And it caused Chelsea Green to roll out of the ring, and she was out of the match for most of the rest of the match. She tried to get back in it, though. She was struggling to climb the ladder, though. So Robert Stone got in and climbed the ladder himself. I thought he was going to pull off a James Ellsworth. Pulls Chelsea, though, up the ladder to help her reach for the championship. It did not work out, though, because I think it was Io Shirai who would then push the ladder over, and both Stone and Green would fall. That's pretty much the last we saw from the two of them. Of course, we saw Candice and Io have their run-ins, but again, the main storyline focus, of course, here came with the stuff with Dakota Kai. There was a moment in the match where the three of them teamed up on each other, and with Candice, Mia, all three baby faces, Candice, Mia, and Tegan all teamed up on Dakota, and basically took turns with some maneuvers taking her out. Of course, one time, I liked the spot where the three of them were surrounded there, and then Dakota backed up. Didn't know Tegan was behind her, bumped into her. Tegan, who of course, during their matches showed a little bit of resistance, as in I really don't want to hurt my best friend, but now this match was like, nah, we're gonna do so. But we had a bunch of some assisting. I mean, there was a good portion of the second half of the match that Raquel Gonzalez got involved. So I think it was Mia and Dakota double teamed on her and take her out, pushing her through the table. I think Dakota, though, eventually was the one who gave her a boot to the face, and Tegan was knocked out of the ring, and she fell through a ladder, a 6th spot right there as well. There was times people were yanking each other off the ladders, they were being knocked off the ladders. A bunch of good spots for sure. The ending came, though. It was after Chelsea Green was being pulled up by Robert Stone. Shirai and actually, it was both Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, actually, who tipped them both off the ladder. And these two duke it out, climb to the top rope, but then Io rakes Candice's eyes and shoves Candice down into a draped ladder. And that's when Io grabbed the briefcase win. So I knew it was most likely going to be either Io or Dakota winning this match. I was definitely thrown off for sure, because either way, who's going to be facing the heel champion Charlotte Flair, or the babyface badass in Rhea Ripley. Which, once again, rumors are the reason why Rhea did not win her match at Mania is because her contract, her visa expired. So she's going back to New Zealand for now, till she gets that all figured out, and maybe she might not be able to get that figured out because of the coronavirus. So that's why, that's apparently the reason why. Of course, they have a storyline where it's there was a segment where they did show Rhea crying backstage, and she was just you're better than I thought, and now she has to work her way back up. Kind of just a simple way to have us get behind her for her to eventually, hopefully, beat Charlotte. But as far as Io and Charlotte goes, awesome match to me. And apparently, this was the one person Io wanted to face. So we're getting into NXT. I'm glad we're getting NXT, because if we got on the main roster, I'm sure it would not be that good of a match. But we're getting into NXT, maybe at a takeover. Who knows what? But still going to be a great match whenever it happens. The Queen versus the Genius of the Sky. I love it. Should be awesome. So it's a good way to open up the show. Again, the only thing about the match, again, I felt that it felt like it had about 5 more minutes to it. I really thought they could have given this match about 5 more minutes to go into just another level of gear. And to me, it probably would have been another higher grade for me, I would say, for this match. But still, excellent showcase for sure from all 6 of these women. We then get a recap of Imperium's attack on Finn Balor from a couple months ago. And then we then see a recap of Balor's trip to the UK, where he dealt with the champions, 3 other members of Imperium, and ended up facing Alexander Wolf on that show, which Balor would win after the rest of Imperium was ejected from ringside. Finn Balor gets a promo where he says that both he and Walter have creative control over their worlds, but they're here, unable to make their next move. But this time will pass, and then Walter's time as UK champ will pass too. So with that being said, I don't know if NXT UK TakeOver Dublin's still happening or not. if it does, and we don't get Finn Balor versus Walter there, which I'm pretty sure it's the main reason why they were doing this, because, why wouldn't they want to have, like a big name in Finn Balor on the card for TakeOver Dublin? Why wouldn't they? So if not, then they'll probably do it at the next TakeOver. They're able to do it from a live audience, which is fine by me as well. Then we get another promo from Malcolm Bivens introducing his new team in this share by having them kick Matt Riddle's ass, and they're getting ready to get into action next. And then, of course, we also get another Killer Cross teaser, and then we also get flashbacks to the kidnappings of Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Still no word on what happened to them. But we have in this share taking on the team of Ever Rise. I don't know, guys. Again, I'm just not digging this team. It seems like just like a Authors of Pain repeat or ripoff. I don't know. I'm not feeling them. They get the victory. Then we get a pre-tape promo with Adam Cole from his pool. He clapped for Velveteen Dream, beating Roderick Strong. Well, he says Roderick Strong, but he actually... Well, actually, this says Roderick Strong in here, but he actually beat Bobby Fish recently. But he's beaten both Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. He hasn't faced Kyle O'Reilly yet. But Cole says lightning won't strike twice. Dream isn't worth a shot at him, but if he's unlucky, one day Cole will wake up and decide to end an experience or shatter a spotlight. And that is undisputed. And of course, is that after you take a nice long hardcore sleep with Dr. Britt Baker. Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry, man. She's just hot. But, had to say it. Anyways, to get ready for the main event. But before that, we get the highlights from the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair match. And also, we were informed, due to the circumstances, apparently the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Jordan Devlin is not able to make it over to the United States this time. Because of this, they're going to start a tournament next week to crown an interim Cruiserweight Champion. So obviously, there's going to be an interim Cruiserweight Champion for the time being. And once Jordan Devlin's able to come back, then basically the two, it's going to be kind of like a repeat of John Cena and CM Punk, who the undisputed Cruiserweight Champion will be. But, alright, fine. I mean, they're not taking the title off of Devlin because it's not his fault. But, so that's what we got to do with the Cruiserweight division. We also get, again, the recap of Rhea and Charlotte. We see, of course, the interview from Rhea after the match. Made the same thing everybody does, thinking the title makes the and whatnot. But anyways, we have an interview with Charlotte, though. This is the interview that was shown on Raw this past week that I missed. Then Charlotte says that Rhea made the same mistake everyone does, thinking the title makes the wrestler, but the wrestler makes the title. Basically, just like her dad would say. Rhea was alright, but she did what everyone in this company does, bow down to the queen. Woo. So again, the next match is the main event. The match we have been waiting for, that I'm going to have lots to say about this. Well, first, live chat, we see Tyler. What's up, Tyler? Saying, hey there, Goldberg is better than Brock, he says. It's quite possible. Anyway, so we got the main event in an empty building. A random empty building. Don't know what this place was or however. So, it was the Blackheart, Tommaso Ciampa, versus the Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano. One final beat. Now, I thought this match was going to be Falls Count Anywhere. It was not. You had to get the pin in the ring. But, no countouts, no disqualifications, no rules, anything goes. Basically, like no holds barred or a street fight, pretty much. So, first we see Johnny Gargano pull up in a car with Candice LeRae in the passenger side. Johnny says, I have to do this. And then when she gets out, she doesn't even say anything, but she hands him something in a paper bag. He then starts to walk to the building. Gargano walks in on one side, Ciampa walks in from the other. Triple H is in the ring with a chair he's sitting in. He picks up the chair and reminds them of what he said before. They can do whatever they want right now, but it ends here. And then they have the referee Jake Wirtz there to decide a winner. But that's it. Once it's done, it's over. No more. He throws down the chair and says when he leaves, it's on. And they get in the ring, and the match begins. And first you think they're going to go right for the chair, but then they Jolly Jordan Ciampa kicks the chair out of the ring and said it should be just them. This match, I don't know if it was their best match. It was definitely one of them. I think this was a great way to kind of tie in the story perfectly. Going into this, I was a little concerned because again, I still felt this dynamic with Ciampa being the babyface now and Gargano being the heel. But to me, it was like this match was like featuring neither one of them is supposed to be, the hero, the good guy in this. These two have been going to war for 3 years. They both made each other into monsters. And they literally, neither one of them is innocent in this feud. So obviously it's just about who really is the best. Who really is the heart and soul of NXT. And throughout their match, there was many callbacks to several moments in their feud. This was another cinematic thing because it was done inside of a building. The way it was shot, this was more of it was a match, but it was more of a cinematic film. And there was a lot of drama. You heard a lot of trash talking. They wanted to prove who's the heart and soul of NXT, saying, is this all you got, whatnot. They beat the piss out of each other. They beat the absolute piss out of each other. Let me just read and see what else we got here. We didn't get a lot of punches back and forth. And then, of course, Ciampa was asking Gargano who was he going to replace him with, reminding him, first again, that's the first thing, reminding us of his justification for turning on him in Chicago. And then, of course, Gargano would then target Ciampa's leg while asking him how his ACL is, because that's the injury. Ciampa fights it off, sucker and punching and whatnot. And of course, there was a moment in the match I know where Ciampa reminded Gargano that he finished that match in Chicago with that torn ACL. He was hurt. Again, he wrestled that ladder match in Chicago the night that Ciampa first turned on Gargano with a torn ACL he had suffered that Thursday it was before TakeOver. He wrestled that match injured and came across like a badass. We even saw it several times with garbage lids, garbage cans, the use of the chair, walloping each other, the crutch that eventually broke into pieces, a fire extinguisher Gargano used on him. We saw them use the power bombs to the table and whatnot. And then, of course, they're saying this ends in the ring, but they kept ignoring the referee. The referee tried to see, hey, do you want to stop this? And they're like, heck no, get away from us, pushing them away, basically. They could have done without the referee. But they said this is what they wanted to do. Ciampa told the referee he's lived with the lies and he needs to prove it's all a charade. And then Johnny continues to stumble, get back into the ring, back and forth. But then, okay, here's one thing about this match. I think this might be why I won't give this match over their best match. I still feel their best match is the Chicago Street Fight. That was to me still my favorite match. Here's the problem about this match: the commercial breaks. Most of them did not bother me. There was one in particular, though, that did, because it really threw off the match. We felt like something big was going to happen, but then when it went to a commercial break, it came back, it kind of was just a little bit like a letdown part, I would say. So there was a time where they go outside the building. And again, the match cannot end outside the building, but they start brawling outside with a road case. They were brawling up against a Performance Center truck. And Ciampa actually took the road case and tried to smash Johnny with it, but then Johnny got out of the way and it hit the wheel. Ciampa climbed up to the top of the truck. It was kind of like a symbolism to call back to whenever Gargano first lost his job after he put his career on that line against Almas in that match a couple weeks after takeover for Philadelphia, and Ciampa cost him his career in that match. In the match at Philadelphia, he didn't cost him. He let Johnny have his moment, but then he came out and just bam, struck back on Johnny, made his return. But then there was the night that he did put his career on the line and he lost. There was a moment where Ciampa was on top of the truck going, this classic heel Sicilian psychopath Ciampa. But they both end up on top of the truck brawling each other. I'm like, something is going to end up bad. Someone's going to fall off that truck or what? But then a commercial break happened. We came back. They're climbing off the truck and walking back into the Performance Center, which I'm like, come on. But Johnny got back not in the Performance Center. Johnny got back into that empty building before Ciampa did. And he hit on top of the bleachers and did a cross-body dive onto Ciampa. And they began to, and then I think they even went through a table that had a bunch of water bottles in there. They get into the ring. They're continuing to wallop each other back and forth. And I think we had our first pinfall attempt whenever Ciampa went to pin him, smashing him with the lid. There was a crutch being done across the face. But then, here's where it got personal. This, to me, was kind of like a callback to when Johnny started turning to the dark side at TakeOver Chicago. This was like a reenactment of the, this was like Johnny's way of, recalling the moment in the Chicago match wherever Ciampa spit on the wedding ring of Gargano and threw it to the crowd, and Johnny snapped, and that's what costed him the match. So we had Gargano attacking Ciampa with the crutch, and then while he's beating him down, he pulls him up and he taunts Ciampa, saying, "You're a failure as a wrestler. You're a failure as a friend, as a husband, and even a father." And of course, Ciampa was even laughing about that. But then Gargano says, I think this is what set Ciampa off. He says, "I'm going to do Willow a huge favor for her." And that's when Ciampa just snapped and grabbed the crutch that broke into pieces, just walloping the hell out of Johnny, calling him a piece of shit, and just telling him just to give up and quit. It was not going to happen. He would then do a crossface on Johnny with that crutch. We also get some yanking away. We get the piece of the crutch attacking with them. Super kicks left and right. And then there was a moment in the match also where Ciampa had Gargano hooked around. It looked like that Gargano was going to hook in like the air raid crash, whatever he called. But Ciampa reversed it, did an air raid crash off the top turnbuckle onto the padded floor outside of the ring. We see them go through the tables. This was literally like them putting everything on the line with this right there. That was a sick moment. And then, of course, we got to talk about this part is here before I think we get this. We're about to get to the meat and gritty part of this match. There was a part also in the match where Ciampa had like wire clippers and cut off the strings around the ring, exposing the wood for basically the eventual finish. There was a spot in the match, of course, where we saw Ciampa use the knee with the garbage can on Johnny's face. There was another moment where he tried to knee Johnny in the face again with that running knee, but Johnny got out of the way and they accidentally hit the referee instead. So the referee was out for a good portion of the final last several minutes of this match. After they get pieces of the crutch, goes to attack, and they super kick each other and they're down. As both men are getting up, here comes Candice LeRae into the building. She's crying and she looked distressed. She begged the both of them to stop. Asked, were they getting as they were getting ready to, stand up. And then they said, "Can both of you just stop?" But then Candice looks over at Johnny and says, "Who are you?" And I'm like, huh? And then she looks at Ciampa. Now, keep in mind, Johnny's supposed to be the heel here. Candice is a babyface. So Candice looks over at Ciampa and says, "Are you happy? Look what you've done. I can't stand this. Just end this, guys." And then she goes, "You know, I hate my husband. I hate the man you've turned him into." And then she's like, "You know what, Tommaso, finish this." Turns around, grabs Johnny, bam! Kicks him right in the nuts. Candice LeRae, which of course, on screen, which they don't overexpose it, maybe after what happens here, but I'm sure NXT won't do it. On screen and in real life, Candice LeRae is Johnny Gargano's wife. And she kicks him where the sun does not shine, and Johnny is down. Candice says, "Finish him," and walks away. The referee is still out at this point. And then, but then of course, before she walks out, Tommaso then starts showing some remorse, and he doesn't try to finish it. And then she leaves. Ciampa then makes his way over to Gargano, and they touch heads like they did after the Cruiserweight Classic match, showing some remorse. That's literally his former best friend's wife. Obviously, he didn't want to take it that far. Johnny took it that far, saying that stuff about him being a failure as a father and whatnot, blah blah blah. But that's where Ciampa was kind of like showing some remorse. You know, obviously, he did this. Like he took their friendship and pushed it off to the side. Even though, again, Johnny is supposed to be the hero of the story the whole time, this has been delayed a whole year for this big finale match that we've been waiting. We were supposed to get last year at TakeOver New York. Ciampa is finally coming to his senses, realizing what he's all he's done to Johnny Gargano. He is, again, once again, I said at the beginning of when I'm talking to this match, neither of these guys are meant to come across as innocent people. They're both monsters in their own ways. And this is where the true monster who started all this, Tommaso Ciampa, says, "I'm sorry." He started all this. Obviously, he's showing some remorse. He apologizes, and Johnny says, "I'm sorry too." And it looks like the two of them are just fine. They're making up. But all of a sudden, BAM! Candice LeRae snuck back in from behind and low-blowed Tommaso Ciampa from behind. I'm like, what the? She's like, so she wanted Ciampa to finish Johnny, but now it's like she's got both of them. It's like, what does she really want here? Has she gone crazy? But then Johnny starts laughing, and I'm like, what the? He reaches into his pants, and in that brown bag, it had to have been in that brown bag, Johnny Gargano was wearing a cup when Candice went low. What a genius move right there. To literally go as far as, and it's true, what literally Tommaso Ciampa has done to Johnny Gargano. To go as low as like having his own wife come in saying that she hates the man he's become. Just to give Ciampa that remorse. Play with his heart. And it worked. The referee was getting ready to get up at this time. Johnny, though, then smiles at his wife as she leaves the ring, waits for him to finish the match. And Johnny takes Ciampa over to where the exposed wood is. And he hits the fairy tale ending, Ciampa's own finishing maneuver on Ciampa onto the exposed wood. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Johnny Gargano wins. The right person won this feud. He was supposed to win this last year. Johnny won it here. The dynamic was still weird? Yes. I'm confused now as if Candice LeRae is for sure a heel or not. It looks like it is, but I'm gonna wait and see what she says next week. but I'm pretty sure Candice is a heel, which I'll give my thoughts on Candice being a heel if she has turned heel. But they're smiling at each other. She helps into the car. There's another couple in a black car nearby, which apparently some people say was Killer Cross and Scarlett. But we probably won't know for sure. They're probably getting ready to, if they are, of course, going to do Johnny Gargano and Killer Cross. We'll probably have a mixed tag match with Scarlett, Cross, Johnny, and Candice. So that's the way it probably looks like. It looks like Candice probably would be the heel then, but I'm still gonna give it a week. But again, like I said before, Ciampa and Gargano, the roles were reversed. Ciampa was supposed to be a babyface, Gargano the heel, but in this match, it didn't matter who was what. These were just two guys who went to war. And I just loved all the callbacks to the storytelling of this, the reenactment of the moments, the drama, the trash talking. These two just beating the piss out of each other physically and mentally. Again, the one thing, though, that definitely hurt this match was the commercials. Especially that one while they were on top of that Performance Center truck. That was the only one I could say that got on my skin. Like, I couldn't stand it. Like, they were fighting on top of a truck. Obviously, how the heck would these two get down from the bottom? Like, they weren't listening to the referee anyways. But then it comes back and they're both getting ready to walk back in, not even touch each other. It's just like, what the, like, that was a little off there. But, just a great match. I mean, was it weird to end with a little bit of a screwed finish? I agree, yes. But keep in mind, again, both these guys had it coming to them. Like, you can't say like either one of these guys are technically innocent. Tommaso Ciampa, despite the fact he's supposed to be the babyface here, had this coming to him. He got the full comeuppance on him that Gargano was supposed to give him last year. That couldn't happen because of Ciampa's neck injury. And of course, during the match, Gargano attacked the ACL, the neck, and just attacked the heart of the Black Heart. But, well said, done. Johnny Gargano won as he should have. That's what's next to these two. Besides the fact they're going their separate ways, we'll have to wait and see. That's just what it is. That's it, guys. That's my review of NXT. If I gotta give this show a grade, I'm gonna give it an A-. I mean, the ladder match was great. That main event was awesome, except for the commercials. Again, I'm not a fan at all of this Ender Sheer tag team, though. Not digging it right now. May take a while for me to get behind it, I don't know, but right now, I'm not digging it. And, we'll just wait and see what goes on. Check the live chat, because Tyler's coming to say in the live chat. What's worse, Goldberg not winning the World Championship at SummerSlam, or Roman not winning the red piece of shit at WrestleMania 34? Well, again, I did watch the match at SummerSlam where Goldberg didn't win, but because, I was more of a fan, more understanding what was going on at the time, I think Roman not winning at WrestleMania 34 was a bad idea, and I have to probably go with that. Yes, I do agree this match should have been Falls Count Anywhere, and then Money in the Bank should be canceled. I hope it ends up being canceled, because why are they still declaring it? Again, WWE just needs to take a break. Take a month or two off. Literally, these shows are not going to work. I'm sorry. They're not. But guys, that's going to do it. Again, I will try to have some type of video out sometime today or tomorrow regarding the release of the Revival. And then tonight, I'm not sure if I'll get to catch SmackDown Live as soon as it comes on, but if not, then I will either check the highlights or see if I can catch it sometime after it starts. And I will do a live review of SmackDown. And again, the video for the Revival getting released as well. But guys, that's going to do it, guys. Again, A- for NXT this week. What were your thoughts on NXT for the week? Please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at TheManAirboy93. If you did not get to yet, if you would like to check out my my live reactions from the WrestleMania matches, or my live reactions from these past week's episodes of NXT from the matches I did there, feel free to go back and do so. Make sure to check out my WrestleMania Experience documentary as well, found in the description box down below. And, Yep, just make sure to always stay tuned for more content to come to this channel. So with that being said, guys, I'm checking out. I will see you guys all later. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out, everybody.